it's actually working really well. That's really cool. My name's Joseph. I've been living in this van for 4.5 years. In this video, I'm going to do a demonstration of the EcoFlow Wave 2, which is basically a small AC system, like a mini split. We're going to demo it, we're going to go through some of the features on it, and then I'm going to share my own personal opinions and thoughts about it. That being said, EcoFlow did give me this product for free so that I can make this video. That's kind of how these things work. Currently, they're offering a 40% off deal for these things for a limited time, and all that information is going to be down below in the video description. And I will share all this stuff again later on in the video. For now, we're just going to go through the unboxing process, the setup, and just take it away from there. Okay, so it comes with everything you would expect to see. We got the machine, the power cord, there's a drain tube, there's these transfer plates right here which work with the ducts so that you can fix those onto these sections right here, and also the front. The vents are pretty cool too. That's a cool sound. It comes with 2 of those. And then there's this thing here, which is a little thing that snaps onto the other side of this unit that you can wrap up the electrical cord onto. And then you've got your quick start guide, your manual, your warranty card. Usual things that you'd get in a package like that. There's also this vent board right here, which works with the ducts. And this kind of thing would work really well in a square window like that. But we're gonna have to be a little bit more creative when it comes to the van. According to their website, it's the most powerful, compact, portable air conditioner that can be used anywhere, anytime. It boasts the fastest cooling and heating for a portable air conditioner, which can drop or raise the temperature 18 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius in 5 minutes. We'll put that to the test when we take this out of the van. 8-hour long run time with add-on battery, which we don't have, so we'll run it on the Delta 2. Installation free, fits anywhere, kind of, sort of. I mean, for these things to work, we're gonna have to put the vent on there. I think maybe we'll try it out both ways. And then fast charging, yeah, we don't have a battery, so that's fine. Okay. In terms of the look, it kind of looks a little bit like the Tesla Cybertruck to me. That's what I think. I think it looks a little bit like the Tesla Cybertruck. Anyway, we got the controls on the top, some buttons, some vents, another intake on this side. Looks like I can come off, yeah. A little filter, that's great. That's cool, looks like a little thermostat right up there, a little temp sensor. And another little vent there. The power, this is for the battery that fits onto the bottom of this, so we're not going to use that. And I believe this, you charge the battery via solar or the cigarette lighter in your car. You can charge your battery with that, which we don't have, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to use the AC plug-in to power this thing, and we'll use the Delta 2 Max for that one. And then back here, another vent. Looks like, yeah, another vent that you can clean off. And there's another temp sensor right up there. And then down here, that's the drain right there. I think this comes out. Yeah, that comes out, so you can flush it just like that manually. Apparently there's a button in the app you can press to do this too. And then there's the drain tube. And I guess you would use this in a situation where you're gonna have this sort of set up in a semi-permanent location, which I would do inside a small office space like this, for sure. But I wouldn't do that in a van unless you're gonna strap this thing down. There's something in the manual about not tilting this on a 15-degree tilt. And if you do, you have to wait 2 hours before you start this thing up again. So if you're doing a lot of off-roading, going up and down big things like that, maybe you want to keep that in mind if you're going to use this for a vehicle. But in an RV or a van that's primarily on pavement, you wouldn't have to worry about that. It totally looks like a Cybertruck. That's pretty neat. Next up, we're going to take this out to the van and hook it all up and try it out. All right, so it's great that the kit comes with one of these things, and I think this would work really well in your traditional home window where you're dealing with square dimensions. But in the case of the van, which I'm gonna try this out in, this isn't really gonna fit in there like that. I'll have to build something that'll go with the curve of the window all the way down to wherever this is, and then roll the window up to where I need it to be so I can get both the pipes in here. And I think the best way to do that is to build it out of cardboard for this particular application, and then just do it 3 layers thick, keeping the inside layer slightly recessed so that the window is captured within it and it pushes it up into the top here. Okay, 3 pieces of cardboard together. You can see how the one in the middle is slightly deeper than the rest, so that's where the window's gonna sit. You know, you can make this out of plastic, I suppose, and then it would be more permanent, and you could just keep this kind of thing in your vehicle and just, you know, slip it into the window like that. But for this particular reason, I'm just doing it out of cardboard, which I think is gonna serve the purpose. There's a bit of a gap right there, maybe right there. So if you're gonna make one of these, maybe make it out of cardboard first, get the dimensions perfect, and then remake it out of whatever material you're gonna use. Okay, so I got it out here already, and that's where I'm gonna put it. I thought maybe I would put it up there, but if I use the vents, it's not gonna go through the window properly. And I knew that when I made that thing, so that's also why it's on the driver's side, because this thing can sit here and the vents are just naturally gonna go over to that direction. I thought of putting it right there as well, but for this particular scenario, I wanted to have it down here so that we could have a little bit more space in the van to work with it and see the controls. So we got these plates right here that fit onto it. This one goes back here like that. And this little one here is going to go right here in this section like that. This other plate here is for something totally different. So another way you could use this is if you were to have the whole thing on the outside of the vehicle, then what you would do is you would have this one here and you would have a hose going from that into the inside of the vehicle. So you just have one hose coming in, and then the whole thing would live on the outside. But because you have one hose coming in, you're gonna need to crack a window on the other side or open up a roof vent or something so that you're not creating a positive pressure airspace in here. If you did that, you're gonna put too much strain on the motor. And I think their idea with this too wasn't so much to have it on the outside of a vehicle, but if you're in a tent situation, then you could have this hooked up to the hose and the hose could go into the inside of the tent. So for now, I don't really see a use for this so much for the inside of this particular van, and or maybe even a lot of van scenarios. Like if you're gonna operate that on the inside, you're probably not going to use that at all. Anyway, we'll get these things hooked on. I'll start with the bottom one here. It's going to be pretty tight. This is one thing I think EcoFlow's would maybe change about the way these things hook up to the transfer plate that they give you, and or if you're going to make something like this, is you're just kind of sticking them through this or that foam piece and there's no way to really secure it on. But they've got these locking things. It'd be kind of neat if they made a ring that was slightly bigger than this to fit on both this side and the inside so that you could sandwich it, and that would just give it a little bit more of a permanent holding on whatever piece that you're going through. So right now I don't have the battery pack that you can buy for this. There's an external battery that sits on the underside of the machine, making the whole thing an all-in-one unit. It's portable, it's got its own power source and all that sort of thing. So in this case, we're going to use the cord that it came with, AC cord, and just plug it into, I've got an EcoFlow Delta 2 Max right up there, so we're going to run it off of that. That way we can see what the power consumption is going to be. I could probably also run this off of the inverter that I have hooked up in the back of my van with my house batteries, but we're going to run it off of this for this one. All right, and to start it off, I'm at 97% on that, so we're just going to keep an eye on it as it goes, but we're good to go. What we'll do is we'll put it into cool mode. We'll put the AC down. Right now I've got the temperature set to 16 degrees Celsius, which is the coldest it goes. That's very typical of any air conditioning unit. And then right now it's saying the inside temperature is 25.2. So we're gonna run this on full blast and see how long it takes for it to cool down. Let's do a stopwatch. It says it should drop the space temperature down 10 degrees in 10 minutes. So we'll see how that goes. I'll just kind of leave that right there for now. In the meantime, we can take a look at the app here, go into the machine. I'm actually going to change it off manual and I'm going to go into max. So now it's going to ramp up and really put out some juice. Okay, now it's at 5:03. It's definitely gone up in terms of power consumption. We'll try it out in eco mode a bit later. We'll see how that goes. I'm also going to play around with the heating function. I think what I'll do with that is I'll try that out this evening when I sleep in the van at night. That'll be kind of a fun way to try it out. It is carrying the warm air out, and this is already starting to feel a bit warm. It's a bit loud on this max setting, so I don't know. I mean, I could rest to this. I don't know if I would necessarily have a full good night's sleep. I'm a fairly light sleeper, so this is pretty loud. It's about as loud as my max air fan right here is on when it's on full blast, but this is running at full blast right now. Okay, it's been 10 minutes and we're at 18.3, 18.4 degrees. All right, so it didn't actually drop it down 10 degrees Celsius in 10 minutes. It brought it down about 7. Noticeably though, it's cooler in the inside of the van for me, so it definitely works. It's taking out all that air, and then the inside of the van is quite cool. But obviously, as you can see, like, this is a bit obtrusive on the inside of my space. It's gonna be fine for tonight. We're gonna keep it there and run it into the heater mode and see how it runs like that. But setting this up every day on the inside of my van, the way I live, would be a little bit much unless we're going through a heat wave and I just want to grab this thing and bring it into my van. That's where this thing's gonna shine for me, for my particular application. But I think you could set this up inside a small room in a house just fine and be able to keep that room cool, and then you've got a machine that you can take with you on the road on camping trips, set it up on the inside of a van, or use it in a tent to be able to heat it and or cool it at night. We're going to try the heating function of this a little later tonight and see how that plays out through the course of the evening. I think it's going to be okay. We can play around with it a little bit right now, but the inside of the van is definitely cool at this point. Anyway, what I'm going to do is just switch it over to eco mode right now and then hang out on the inside of the van. I got some work to do and just sort of see how things play out. All right. I got distracted there with the video I'm working on. This thing's running well in eco mode. Let's see what we got down here. 85% left. I don't know how long it's been running for, maybe an hour and a bit. And it's like 16 degrees in here. It's right on target. So that's amazing. It's actually working really well. That's really cool. Whew. And yeah, I'm a bit chilly. But anyway, it's starting to rain outside, which is probably going to compromise the cardboard on the outside of the van. So I might have to do my evening test. Maybe not tonight. If it's gonna rain, I might have to do this next time. But don't worry, it's gonna be in the same video. I'm just gonna have to switch things up a little bit to get this to play out the way I want it to. All right, it's nighttime. It's not raining anymore. So we're gonna get the heater on and just preheat the van for the evening. I am at my cousin's place, so I'm gonna go back inside, hang out with those guys for a couple hours, maybe watch a movie, have some popcorn, that kind of thing. But then when I come out after all that, it'll be dark out and the van should be cozy. That's what I'm hoping. I should mention that this kind of thing is a heat pump. It's a reverse heat pump. So what that means is it's not gonna work in really cold environments. If it's below freezing, for example, this thing will not work, because all it's doing is it's just reversing the direction of the refrigerant, and it can really just extract so much coolness. And right now, it's going to be pumping that cold air. This thing's almost ice cold right now, and this is nice and warm right here. So that's basically all it's doing, is it's just reversing the direction of the refrigerant, so that instead of having AC going in the van, it's creating AC for the outside of the van going out of these pipes. And then in here, it's just bringing in that heat. This is just eco mode too. I'm sure in max, which we might try out a little bit later this evening, it might be a little bit better. And then we'll just have a look here. 360 watts. You can hear the compressor working, the fan blowing. Just for fun, let's put it in max. I'll just give it a minute, see if it'll ramp up for a second, and we'll see what kind of power it's drawing. Okay, it's already been a few minutes, and we're at 24.4 degrees. The power is 411 watts. So, I don't know, I'm just gonna drop it back into eco mode while I go inside. I don't think I need to leave it on max, and I don't want to drain the Delta 2 Max tonight. Should run off that thing for 14 hours on eco mode. So I'm gonna drop it down into eco mode so we can get through the whole night with it. And on here, we'll just change that to the little leaf. There we go. Turn off the lights. There we go. Alright, see you later, little dude. I didn't watch a movie, but it's a beautiful night out, really starry. This camera on this phone doesn't do justice, but ready to climb in. That'll do. This definitely sounds different from what I'm used to with the diesel heater, but we're gonna spend the night with it and see how it goes. 22.9, and I just opened the door, so we just dropped a lot of the heat. But how's the battery doing? 50%. Oh boy. We'll see if we get through the night with the battery. I don't know. It says 3 hours left at this particular rate right now, which isn't too promising, but that was with the compressor running, which just turned off right now. I'm sure it just cycles back and forth, and that'll be it. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready for bed. Okay, I'm pretty well set for bed, but what I'm gonna do is just change the temperature on this and bring it down to 20. There we go. The other thing I was just thinking is the 14 hours that they say it will have running off the Delta 2 Max is probably when it's not running through the inverter, because right now I'm just running an AC cord off of it. But it does have that little battery plug on the bottom, and then there's a cord you can get that goes from that to the Delta 2 Max, and then that way the Delta 2 Max isn't running the inverter. It can just go straight off 12 volt into this thing, and in that sense it might pull less power out of it because it's not converting it to AC power and then back into whatever voltage this thing is. Anyway, that's it. Nighty night. Yeah, I suspect the battery died. It won't even turn on. So it sucked everything out of that Delta 2 Max last night. Yeah, at some point in the night, I guess it just used up all the juice out of that battery. Anyway, I gotta go have a coffee and share some final thoughts about this in a second. Okay, I'm back from coffee, breakfast. It wasn't actually coffee because I'm not drinking that these days, but it was a tea. In any case, I figured it's time to share final thoughts about this whole thing. Last night, the van was actually cozy when I got into it, but it didn't last the whole night. And I think part of the reason is this is a colder climate. The machine's working a little harder for that kind of thing. And I wouldn't necessarily think of using one of these as a heater anyways. In Canada, like in the colder times, I find it much better to rely on the combustion fuel with the diesel heater or a wood stove or something along those lines. That being said, I think this shines mostly as an air conditioner. And in that way, it worked really well. It didn't bring the temperature in here down as quickly as it advertised it, but it did eventually bring that temperature down and it held it there, no problem. I was kind of hanging out in here working on that video for a while, lost track of time, and in that sense it was fine. Running an air conditioner as well is going to have the side benefit of reducing the working capacity of other refrigeration products like a refrigerator or a freezer, be that inside a small room or cabin space and or in a vehicle like an RV or a van like this one. This would be ideal for someone who's spending more time indoors or someone who's got pets and you got to look after them. That's where this thing would be really good. I also think having the add-on battery would make this thing a lot more versatile because it just opens up a lot more doors with it. For example, set it up with the right solar array and run this thing indefinitely under the right circumstances. You know, if you're in a really sunny environment and it's hot, this thing could just run full time in that sense. I found the unit to be simple to operate. The app made it really easy to operate the whole thing remotely. So it's kind of like just having a remote control on the thing. So that part was cool. And probably the best feature about this whole thing is that it's a true portable air conditioner, meaning you could use this in a home and just as easily take it with you on a road trip to somewhere else doing whatever it is that you're gonna do. But anyway, that's everything I can share about this particular thing. I might have missed something on it. I don't know. It's pretty difficult sometimes to put these videos together, but hopefully it helps you out. And again, they're running this 40% off campaign on it right now for a limited time, so you can get this thing for 40% off. And then there's another discount code you can use as well. I'll put it on the screen here. That one will give you an additional 6% off of all the other products on their website, but not on top of the 40% off for the Wave 2. It doesn't work like that on that particular one. But 40% off on this thing does make it more appealing in terms of buying it, because then you're not paying it full price. Anyway, that's it. Leave it with you. Much love, take care. To my regular audience, if you don't watch my channel on a regular, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and maybe subscribe. There's some cool stuff on this channel, and I hope to see you around. Okay, take care. Bye.